So I've been seeing a bunch of headlines and comments all over social media that Trump is cutting Social Security and Medicare. And of course, I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we cutting these benefits for elderly people? But of course, gotta do the research for myself. Can't just believe a headline or just believe random comments on social media. So first, I see if this is true, and then I find that Trump has stated numerous times that he doesn't want to cut any benefits from Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. And then you have headlines like this where it literally says in the headline that Trump and Elon Musk are eliminating Social Security and Medicare. But then if you actually click on the headline and you read and you scroll down, well, they're actually not going to cut it because Trump said he's not going to cut it, but they're going to cut Medicaid. What is Medicaid? Healthcare for low-income families. So where does this rumor come about now that they're cutting Medicaid, even though Trump has stated he's not cutting it? Well, this comes from the GOP House proposing an $880 billion budget cut proposal, and these is for the federal agencies that the Energy of Commerce committee oversee. So they have to make 880 billion cuts over the next 10 years from 2025 to 2034. And the Congressional Budget Office made a statement that this is not feasible without cutting Medicaid if you're excluding Social Security and Medicare. And this is because over the next 10 years, that department, the House of Energy and Commerce Committee, is in charge of $8.8 trillion that's going to be spent over the next 10 years, and $8.2 trillion is spent on Medicaid. So that means they only have $600 billion left to cut over the next 10 years. So anyways, this number doesn't seem feasible unless you add in the waste of fraud that they have been founding within these entitlement programs. And this is not Doge finding it. This is the GAO, which is the Government Accountability Office, finding fraud within these entitlement programs. And they estimate that they spend $233 billion to $521 billion annually in fraud or waste within these entitlement programs. But what you should know is in the bill that they're not binded by this $880 billion number. If they are not able to get to that number, they could amend for reconciliation or an adjustment reduction within that bill. So, long story short, Trump is not cutting Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid, or at least he stated that he hasn't. So, if he goes back on his word, then the outrage can begin, and you could speak up against it, and I will speak up against it as well.